Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here on Ravenport. We are going to carry straight on from where we left off in the last episode, so let's get to it. At the moment, I'm sort of thinking that we won't go to the planned map for doing all of the big machinery on the big map. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment, because I want to be able to do that series properly. I want to be able to do all of the big stuff properly, and I want to be able to look at seasons. Now, I've no doubt that the majority of you are going to want me to look at seasons. You're going to want me to have a proper in-depth look at seasons. So I will pay close attention to which maps are going to sort of be most suitable for doing what we want to do and stuff like that. But I'm thinking at the moment that I will very likely either start... we'll see if we can just carry on this map with a little bit with seasons, although I'm very reluctant to do that, because we've been on here for over 120 episodes now, I think. So it's what are we up to now? I think we're up to like we're episode 130 or something like that. We just gone past 130, haven't we? So yeah, I don't really want to stay on this map. I'd like to do something different, and I've no doubt that some of you would like me to do something different as well. That being said, in order to get the maximum out of seasons, I might need to go to Felsbrunn for just our first look at seasons for a week or two, while we take a look at a few of the little bits with it, until we get a mod map that we can use, that we can have a good look at. Ideally, I want to be able to do the very big machinery, very big scale everything, and tie that in with our first good look at seasons. If we can get the two working together, that's going to be absolutely fantastic. It will be absolutely genuinely brilliant if we can do that. There's no guarantee that that's going to work, so we'll just have to play things by ear, and we'll see what happens. I am very excited about the fact that it's been released. I'm really looking forward to being able to use it. The amount of work that has obviously gone into this is just stunning. I was reading through all the notes that they've got there with the announcements. My goodness me, some of the detail in it is just phenomenal. And I thought it was really good in FS17. It was like one of the best mods out for FS17. And they've gone above and beyond what was in FS17, right? They really have gone above and beyond. What we've got here is the kind of mod that you'd expect from a paid studio, right? You would expect this kind of mod from a paid studio, not as a mod that is being given out free of charge to everybody by some members of the community purely because they think that this is what we should have. That's right. I just clarify this absolutely for everybody. This it's free. They're giving this away completely for free. This is a labor of love by people that think that this is what we should have in the game, and it's not charged for. It's not a DLC. It's nothing like that. It is a free bit of work that a group of people have spent many hours on. This one's loaded crooked, and it's really throwing me off. Just looking at it from down the bottom. That's really throwing me off, that is. So, yeah, it's genuinely amazing, the amount of work that's gone into it. You gotta read through the notes with what's been released on it, because it's incredible. So you got the whole grass rotting thing. That's going to be there. There's snowfall and snow masks and things like that going to be in there. If grass is left too long, it will start to rot. If hay or straw is rained on, that will start to rot. The weather system is a lot more dynamic than it used to be. It's because they used pretty much the same weather system as we had in normal FS17. Whereas this time, the weather has all been changed. You can have every type of weather you can think of in a 24-hour period if the time of year is right for it. Because that does happen in real life. In some places, you can have rain, you can have snow, you can have brilliant sunshine, all in one single day. And they've actually got that. You get the right time of year, and also it does depend on which geo you're using. So I don't know how many geos they're going to release to start with. Probably none to start with, and then they'll, people add more in later on, because that's what they were doing last time. The Geo, for those of you who don't know, is it's basically it's giving the seasons thing a location. Like the default kind of location is roughly mid-Europe. That's what we're looking, roughly mid-Europe. And then as other Geos are released, they tweak all the settings on it so that some people did Geos for right up in Northern Europe, so you had a lot more snowfall and a shorter growing season. You had people doing Geos for areas where you had almost no snow at all, but you had a lot of rain, and not just rain at any time of the year. Not just like rain in the winter, right? Rain all year round. It was really difficult to actually harvest your crops because of the amount of rainfall that you got. Whereas you could make silage, because you can make silage in the rain. So there was a lot of different Geos all around the place, like from all over the world. There was some tropical ones as well, if I remember correctly. And so there's similar things. Like they've already talked about Geos, so I would assume that is a thing that can be open to other modders, where they can release Geos for specific locations around the world, so that you can tweak your season settings then and have the Geo so that it's set to your particular location. Cows, sheep, pigs, they've gone through and they've done a load of work on those as well. Completely altered the way that they work. You've got as animals, each animal I think is listed with like an age and stuff, so you can fatten them up, you can sell them when they reach a killable weight, especially for the sheep and the pigs. And then the cattle, you've got different breeds. You've got some breeds that are best used for dairy, and you've got some breeds that are best used for beef production, and there's a whole load of other little tiny tweaks and stuff to it all as well. So the thing where the pigs and sheep and that, and you got the individual age of each animal, and there's going to be like a spot-on age for selling them, because as in real life, certain animals, when they reach a certain age, that's when they're best sold. That's, if you're rearing these animals for meat, then you reach a certain age, and that's the best time to sell them, and that's going to be reflected in the game. You need to sell your animals at a certain age, or you will end up losing money on them because they will have gotten too old. Or you sell them too early, they're too young, and they end up not having enough weight on them and things like that. Weeds will not grow in... just like at the moment, if you get weeds, they just a blanket growth across the whole field. That's not going to happen. It will be patchy growth. You can treat weeds with a weeder so long as you get them at the right growth stage. Although the growth stage itself, because you're now sort of using the seasons, it's the whole year. So I would imagine that the weeds aren't going to like not come through at all in the first growth stage when you could use the weeder. And you will in fact be able to use the weed, like the weeds will grow, and then you'll be able to use the weeder to treat them if that's what you'd like to do. The herbicide can still be used as a preemptive treatment, whereas the weeder cannot. You've got to get the weeder on at the right time. Weeds don't grow in one blanket growth across the whole lot. They grow in patches. Right? You have patchy growth of you have patchy like areas of growth of weeds all over the place, as it does in as just like in real life. And so many other things as well. There's all these little tiny details, and it looks absolutely incredible. It really does. So there's no way that I will not be using seasons. There's no way that I'm not going to attempt it. I mean, if we find out that, yes, it's unfortunately there's something gone horribly wrong and we're going to have to wait another 3 months, then, so be it. We'll go back to our original plan. But at the moment, 24th of July. Now, I'm recording this at the moment on the 15th of July, so for me it's 9 days. 9 days until season comes out, and then I will start using season. Well, by that time, 24th, 9 days from now, I'm on a Monday, that will be... I'll finish next week's set of videos on this map, and then what will most likely happen is I will start another map, and we will start seasons at the same time. Whether it might be Felsbrunn, we might do Felsbrunn, and then I will start another map. Like after that, I'll do something different after that. It might not be Felsbrunn. It might be there may be a mod map that we can use that we can get stuck straight into. And if there is, brilliant. If there isn't, well, we've got Felsbrunn. We can go and have a look at that one, and we can sort of have a mess around with that. We could probably have a go with the landscaping stuff, the landscaping tools, so that we don't put the farm where the default farm goes. We could actually do it in a completely different location. Yorkshire Dano, he's got a channel, it's in my recommended list. He is the creator of the Dowland Farm map, which was the most popular time-lapse series that I did in FS17. He had a go, when the thing first came out, he was having a mess around on Felsbrunn, and he showed me some pictures of what he'd done. He'd gone up by the sawmill right at the very top of the map, and he'd built himself, and he'd like landscaped out in the corner up there. And now so he'd built an entire farm up there, up at the top. He'd used a couple of placeable tree packs as well, and looked really cool. So I was actually thinking that if we do end up using Felsbrunn to take our first look at seasons, we might do something like that. Rather than putting the farm in the default location, we might go up the top of the hill. And I'll also use, there's a delivery mod as well, isn't there? One where you can have your machinery delivered to a special location, or a set location, instead of having to go and collect it all from the shop. We'll set our delivery location, if as long as it all works with seasons, we'd set the delivery location at the farm, right at the top of the hill by the sawmill. So we're not having to drive up and down that hill to go and collect everything. Driving up and down the hill is absolutely fine for a lot of things, like, you know, selling our produce and stuff like that. But for going and collecting every single little bit of machinery, I don't really want to do that. So that's the sort of thoughts I've been having on it, and what I'd like to do once we get kick-started with seasons. So obviously now is the time that I'd like you to head into the comment section down below and let me know your thoughts on the whole thing. What do you think of it? Do you think we should go to Felsbrunn? Do you think we should stay here? Do you think we should just go to a mod map anyway and hope that we can get, hope that one of them gets an update so that we get every single little feature of seasons put in with it? A lot of it is already going to be there. It doesn't matter what the map is. A lot of it is already going to be there. There's some things, as far as I know, the grass rotting properly in the fields is one of those things. And there's a couple of other little things as well that aren't going to work properly unless an extra layer is put in. It did say in the notes, but at the moment I can't remember which those extra little bits are. So there's one little bit that I'm not 100% sure of. But we can have a look at that. So I'll double check, and it might be that maybe we should just go to this one that we've been planning to go to, the next map that we've been talking about, because we've been talking about it for a while now, and go to that map, do the stuff on there, and run with whatever we can get from seasons as it is right now. If they do an update with it, absolutely brilliant. If they don't, well, we're still going to be having a look at most of what seasons has to offer, and we'll be tying that in with our very large machinery thing, and then we can start taking a look at some other maps and doing some things on there. I know some of you would like me to go back to doing that format, what I was doing at the end of FS17, where I am looking at a new map every 4 weeks. And I haven't forgotten that. I know there's a lot of people would like me to go back to doing that. So I've definitely not forgotten about that. And it is something that I do plan to do. Let's see if we can... Well, I'm not gonna do it like that. Really shouldn't be smashing the cotton harvester into oncoming traffic. It's probably not going to do the cotton harvester a lot of good, all things considered. Now, the last one I was going to put in the middle of this field, wasn't I? Let's have a look. Let's just have a look at the map a minute. So we got... Wait, why harvester? Oh, harvester's not listed. I got one there ready to go up that side and start working in that field. I got one over here ready to start working along there. I got one up here ready to start working up this side. I got one there. I got one ready on there. And then I was going to put one here in the middle, wasn't I? Or was I going to put... I think this field over here is bigger than field 8. So maybe I should have one and do over that side. Start working up there. And then this one here, I'll move that back a bit. And I'll start running that one up through the mid. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah. So I got one up there. Yeah, there is only one up there at the moment. One there, and that one's going to work there. Because one of these fields I was going to have 3 harvesters on. Well, 3 harvesters with hired help, anyway. So I think... Because then I was going to manually drive one around a little bit as well. And then, like, let it go. So, no, maybe I wasn't going to drop it in. Maybe this one, no. This one needs to go right up the other end. So, no, that... I'll bring the other one up there. I want one right up the other end. And I want one... set in the middle over here on this big field, I think. That's how we'll do it. We'll set one right here in the very middle. And we'll run with that at the moment. We'll see how this works. I'm hoping that this will be alright. So I'll bring you over here and I'll sort of plonk you down here somewhere, I think. And then that one up there, over right up by the railway, that one can go on a little bit further. And it will start working on the other side of the... right over on the other side of the field and further away. So, yeah, I know that there are quite a few people that would like me to do that. The series that by going through all the different maps. We haven't had Farming Simulator out for a year yet. And we're getting a lot more maps, especially now that the mod contest has launched. We've got the mod contest going, and there's quite a few good mods in there. I gotta be said, I was sort of expecting more in the way of unique mechanics being introduced, or sort of unique items that we've not really seen before, and there weren't very many of them. So personally, I'm a little bit disappointed with some of the choice, but I know that there are some very interesting things on there as well. Over on our Discord channel, Patrio Gracemark has done some very extensive testing using the new map that has been made for tractor pulling. It's a tractor pulling map, and he's had a lot of fun with that. He's tested every base game tractor there is, and he published all of his results. He's put up some videos of it as well, doing all the testing and that. Really quite cool stuff. And so there's a lot of data that he's compiled with this. He spent quite a long time doing that. Every single base game tractor and all optional configurations of said tractors as well. It just engine configurations, not any other configurations. But he said he did notice that things like wheel weights and wide tires and that make quite a significant difference to a tractor's ability to pull. So he was considering doing a second round of testing, also including some changes with tires and wheel weights and front weights and things like that. But he didn't know when he was going to do it. So there's that map that looks pretty good. I'm not planning to do any series on that one. It's just one that I recommend you go and have a look at because it's quite unique. It's a very different take on the standard map, and it's definitely worth a bit of fun. There are quite a few other maps there as well. A lot of maps actually have been submitted this time round, and some of them I haven't actually had a look at any of the maps yet. I have not looked at a single one yet. I have been told by people on the Discord and elsewhere that some of the maps are absolutely brilliant. They are absolutely fantastic and definitely worth having a look at. There's some pretty cool looking machinery in there. One or two of them, I know that there was some issues with them. Now, I don't know what the rules of the mod contest are, so I don't know if they're allowed to publish an update with any issues. There's one tractor there, I think it's called a Sintrack or something like that, and it seems like a really, really cool tractor, but a lot of people have been having trouble with it. They can't get it to work properly. There is a forum post on that one. You go to the Giants main website and then click on the forums and go through and have a look. And there is a known issue with it where you've got to have your... one of the graphics settings has got to be set right up to maximum. It won't really, so long as all your other graphic settings aren't adjusted, it won't affect your performance, or it won't really affect. I don't think it has much of a knock-on effect on your performance anyway. I'm not going to say that for definite either way, but as far as I know, it doesn't really affect performance. But for some reason, the tractor won't work unless that particular setting is dialed right up to maximum. It's something to do with the actual mod itself and a conflict there somewhere, but that is a workaround on it. Now, I believe they're allowed to patch the things that they put up for the mod contest, but I'm not 100% certain. I don't know if there's a rule where they're not allowed to run a patch out for it or not. Or maybe there's only one patch allowed or something. I've got no idea. But take a look at... I know that one there, a lot of people have been saying, once they got it to work, it's actually a really cool little piece of kit. And there's a few others there as well that, like, there's some really fun stuff to play with. But, like I said, when I first looked through the whole list, I wasn't blown away with the choice. Right? There's a lot of stuff there, but I wasn't blown away with looking at them and thinking, oh, that's actually like a really cool thing. It's brand new. I've not seen anything like that in a game before. We did have a few options like that in FS17, but there doesn't seem to be very much in a way of that this time round, which... I mean, yeah, there are some very cool mods in there, but I'll admit, I was disappointed with the with the selection of mods there. I was really hoping to see something that brought in a new mechanic. My favourite one from the last mod contest was probably, I mean, not the actual mod itself, because I didn't really use that one, but it was that, like, was it Gwile LT, something like that? I can't remember the exact name of it, but there was a mechanic that it brought in with it, and that was the ability to open bales. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. That was such a cool thing. You just walked up to the bale, you pressed N, and it unpacked a bale and just dropped it there on the floor for you, and that was such an awesome thing. Like, it's little detail. It's only a little detail, but it was that part, the mod itself I thought was good, and it was really useful. You could bale up wood chips and stuff like that. You know, it's a handy mod. I never actually used it. I never used that mod, not once. I did think about it, and I did, like, consider using it, but I never actually got round to using that mod. And I sort of thought, well, yeah, you know, it does look pretty good, but I don't know why, I just never actually got round to using it. But I had it active in my folder for a long time because I genuinely loved the feature that it brought in with being able to open bales. You walked up to them, you pressed N, and the bale opened. And that, for me, like, that meant that the whole mod was brilliant. I know that I shouldn't really, you know, that wasn't the idea of the mod contest. I shouldn't have been judging on that one thing, but yeah, that's one. There's a third-person mod as well in the collection. Quite a lot of people really like the idea of that one, so you can see your own character running around. At the moment, you can normally only see a character, obviously, when we're in a cab, and then you're outside, but this one, you get to see your character in third person when you're actually physically walking around outside. That's a nice touch. That's one of those little small... I was going to say quality of life, but I don't know if it's quality of life so much as just a handy thing to have for some people. So I know that's definitely not for not everybody likes that sort of approach to it, but at the same time, it's still a very cool little thing. Just unhitch that one there. Right, we're going to run back down to the farm now, and we're going to skip the night, and then we're going to start our cotton harvest. We're going to wait just a cotton picking moment, and we're going to go cotton picking. And we got a lot of cotton picking to do. So we got all of these different... I've said that I wasn't going to be doing sheep and chickens in the really big scale stuff, but honestly, I kind of want to get every single animal with seasons. I want to go into the map with a big pile of money, which is... It would fit really nicely if we were using the map that we're planning to use, because we're planning to go to that map with a big pile of money. So as we're planning to go there with a huge, great big pile of money, it's going to fit, and you know, everything will fit perfectly with it. That would sort of go in very nicely. Right, wheat and barley, we're doing just fine. We need to put water in for the sheep. We want to put that in before we skip the night. Horses are just fine there. And horses there are good as well. It's 75% as the top horse. That one's just fine as well. So everything seems to be just fine. I don't want to go that way. I want to go to you. And I'm gonna take this baler down and I'm gonna repair this baler. So that when we do come back to it, to a very final episode that we're going to do, and we're going to like just play around and try and launch out the bales at 1 litre per bale. We'll see what that comes out. I don't know what it's going to do when I first load it into the game, though. Because if I'm loading up at 1 litre per bale and I've got 410 litres in... I mean, 1 litre per bale might be a bit much. It might be better if we do 10 litres a bale. 1 litre might just be too... I'll go with 1. I'll go with 1. We'll do that. I might actually try saving 2 separate files, so I'll keep this one as it is. So that we don't need to, like, mess this particular baler around. And then get some different copy. I'll, like, rename them. That's the way that I do it. Rename the actual mod file. Okay, I'm... trying to press tab to go through that, and it's not working. I thought I had the workshop tab mod. I'm pressing the workshop tab mod, and I've noticed that when I do that, the value of the tractor drops down. Not quite sure why the value of the tractor drops when you're using the tab, but it's not recognizing that that even exists. So I got that one. It's completely destroyed. And it doesn't recognize that it exists at all. Sure, I like that. Might be able to go and clean it off, I suppose. And anyway, we'll worry about that later. I'm going to leave that one there. And we'll go and get the water bowser so that we can put a little bit of water in for the sheep. The horses are fine. And if all goes to plan, tomorrow is going to be our last day on the map anyway. Not tomorrow for you, tomorrow for us in-game. Because we're going to harvest the cotton, and then that's it. We will have done the harvest, and that's the last thing we wanted to do on this map. So all I just need to, like, it'd be wrong to let the sheep go thirsty, so I don't want to let the sheep go thirsty. But, you know, technically, I don't really need to put anything in for them at all. And just bring the water up round here. Up through this way. And put a wee bit in for the sheep right there. Like that. And then we can walk away and leave it. You done? Let's have a look. Let's see how much they're taking. Sheep right there. Water. They're going to need quite a bit. They're going to need more than we've got in his tanker. But they don't actually need more than we've got in his tanker. We can leave the rest of it. So we'll leave that like that. I don't know why that baler is not showing up in our workshop mod. It's just not showing up at all. So, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. No, not there. Let me go here. Go to garage. Is it because I've leased... Well, even if I've leased it, it should still be showing up in the workshop. Right, well, it's not there in the leased stuff. So let's go and have a look in the owned items. It's right there. There we go. $30,000 I could sell that for. No idea. Absolutely no clue on that front. Speed things up a little bit. We have a cotton harvest already. I'll tell you what, we will feed Cerberus. We need to... Cerberus! Come on, dude. Come on, have a bit to eat. Go on, you deserved it. Spent all this time climbing up onto the roof of the house. I mean, it's not much... It is tempting, though, isn't it? He can jump onto the fan on there, and then he can jump up onto there, and he can get up onto the roof. I'd do it. I absolutely would do that. If I could do that, I would absolutely go and do it. Right, we'll give ourselves a nice long sleep. Like that. And 8,000 in loan interest. $64,600 in vehicle leasing costs. 60. Well, there we go, folks. I'm afraid that's it. We've run out of time, which means that we need to head on home. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please hit down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.